I know do that here.
Hey, look, what we talking about today, Biggs?
Hell no. Of course I do, bro. I did research just to forget, just to remember that the freaking region is in your region.
Hey, yo, let's go.
Y'all too solid, bro. Like we, I can't just do research and we don't discuss it. I'm here to discuss shit.
We talking
Like
about the Casanova killer.
the Casanova killer. Say it
What's
again.
it? What's it? What's his other tag? What's his other tag?
Here-
The
here-
cross country murderer, cross country
Here's a,
killer.
here's a special treat. Boys, say Casanova killer.
Casanova killer.
Say it.
Casanova killer.
There you go. The young ones are tapped in. We talk about the Casanova killers.
Oh man, want to
They
lead off
tapped in
on
right
this
now.
thing? Give the break room fans a little understanding who this guy is.
Let me see here. Casanova killer. Don't mind me. All my research is on my laptop, so I gotta pull that shit up on my extra tabs. Hold on. Don't be mad at me, children. Where is the Casanova? You know what? You're gonna have to take it right now because I'm gassing up too. So I'm gonna look like a single mom that just came out of soccer practice and I gotta go get dinner.
He's a single papa. Yo, Jay, you gonna lead off the show with what we talking about? Because I don't hear you. You got your mic muted.
He left it up to us, dog. You know what it is? You know what
Oh,
it
I
is?
didn't.
We
You
let
know,
him
this
do
whole
too much.
time I was talking and I didn't know my mic was muted.
I knew it. I
Wow.
had a
Your
feeling.
mic was muted this whole time?
My mic was muted this whole time.
That's funny. I had a feeling. That's why I said that. I was like, let me say that real quick.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, shit
Yeah.
happens. Fuck it.
I'm over here prepared. I'm like, yeah, I got this. I look at my phone tabs. I'm like, fuck, that was on my laptop, not my phone. I'm trying, though. I'm
37
trying.
tabs.
My iPhone should be my little laptop on the go.
My little laptop on the go.
Ah, damn. Ah, damn.
I might just adapt this voice for the whole show, fellas.
Your throat gonna hurt so bad tomorrow.
It's gonna be all right.
It's like those dudes that be selling the free phones on Fordham Road in Bronx, New York. When they 25 chavo, papi. Buy one
Nah,
phone, get
but
one free.
remember that motherfuckers from back in the day? Tempo,
Back in the day, he's still there, bro. You're bugging. You go right there. You go right to T-Bout and Fordham on the cut right there. He's right there next to. That nigga be bouncing out the freaking clothes. He be tempo. He be selling the dollar toothpastes too.
dollar toothpaste.
He sell $1 toothpaste and it come with a gel toothbrush, bro. Shit is crazy.
Only in New York can you buy mouth hygiene and roach poison in
Bro,
the same.
he sells everything, that dude. And he don't age. He look exactly the same from the 90s.
That's that tempo.
That Temple Chemical got that boy looking good. Yeah, I didn't know Carlos Winslow got banged by Diddy too.
Yo,
Man, random.
I just heard that shit, and I randomly seen a quote that he said,
I
and he was
started
like,
dying.
"If we both played with each other's backsides, that's our business. But I ain't getting no sex traffic."
I ain't get sex traffic. Oh, so that shit was all cordial. He gave up that butt for free.
But why Carl Winslow?
That's what I was saying. I'm like, yo, out of all the people on that roster, why would you pick Carl Winslow out of the men? Because I know obviously he like men booty hole.
Or maybe Carl was being the TV dad he was supposed to, and he was saving all them little kids' booty holes.
He's like, I'm gonna do it for the kids. He said, so he won't take the kids' booty hole, take mine.
It's insane, though.
What's his infatuation with fucking starfishes, bro? I guarantee you, if I bring a starfish to him, he fucking like get aroused real quick. Man, and he don't want no poor nigga. He want a motherfucker with money, someone that got power or is a celebrity.
I don't know. I think he'll take Eddie Brown round.
You think he love fudge rounds no matter what? No matter the size.
Yeah, he loves icing them.
Enough of booty holes that P. Diddy. We gotta talk about a Casanova killer and how he was taking booty holes.
That's very insensitive to the victims. But I'm pretty sure he did get some of their holes.
That was insensitive. But if it's a fact he was taking asses and not calling no names. He's a sick son of a bitch, and his brother is just as sick as him.
By the looks of it.
I would like to, you know more about his upbringing than I do.
Bro, his upbringing was bananas. Matter of fact, fine. Let's just start the show.
Let's go. Let's get it.
Get in your seats and pour up your drinks. We'll be starting soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to
BreakRoom, yo.
Your favorite rapper's favorite podcast.
See, this is why I like your show. You're very charismatic. You know the right things to say.
Welcome to the Break Room, the podcast that comes to you live every week with a new topic for you to fucking indulge on and the gritty banter you've come to
Love.
The
Enjoy.
fuck just happened there? I think I had a stroke a little bit.
There was a lot of words you could have used for that. Admire, love, enjoy. And you
I
just
don't know
came
what
out
happened.
with-
It's like my brain fucking farted.
Yeah, the brain fart. It happens to the best of us.
Anywho, what's good, fellas? How y'all doing tonight?
Yeah, we here, man. We here.
I mean, you know, doing the damn thing another Friday in the break room. Go ahead, tell him.
Stay consistent. Stay consistent.
We good here.
Consistency is key. Unlike with me. You know, I just found out today I haven't uploaded an episode onto the fucking podcast site since July.
Yeah, like Spotify as well. Spotify is like fucking last year, December type shit.
No,
Right.
they're all July.
I would like to listen to some of the break rooms and talk of junks.
I gotta get on it, man. It's just
I know life is hard.
life is life.
Obstacles,
Life is life.
obstacles.
What the fuck did you say?
Brain fart.
There's gonna be a lot of those tonight.
Fucking contagious.
Like a fucking yawn.
All right,
Any of y'all heard of Glen Edward Rogers?
I grew up with that nigga.
First of all, why do they make that a thing?
They love.
If they have a middle, if serial killers have a middle name, they have to mention it like that.
They want you to know everything about him.
Glen Edward Rogers.
Murder.
Murder Inc.
No, I'm trying to look for that website. Oh man, I didn't want to say it because I have it on another phone.
All right, this guy is suspected of a lot of things. Convicted of 5 murders, I believe. 2 death sentences, which is crazy.
Victor of 5, but he proclaims that he did 70 plus.
70 plus.
That's like the first floor of a school. That's too many. God.
I don't know though. The way he was moving around, bro.
I believe it because he was everywhere. And he has receipts. He had receipts from everywhere as well.
And they
invoices.
We're probably not going to get into it, so I want to mention that they didn't even really match up or investigate to see if other murders actually was him or not. And there were coincidences in most of the murders. There's a lot of redheads. There's a lot of deaths that were similar to the murders that he was convicted for. But
a lot of the murders that he was supposedly in or wasn't in had the same type of blade too, the thin blade. The blade was always the same size when it came to the thickness of the blade.
I'll say this motherfucker looks super different with and without a beard.
Without the beard, he looks more like a fucking
drunk hillbilly.
Yeah. With the beard, he looks normal to me. You got pictures. You got pictures? I'm gonna see.
Nah, I got mad videos. I can get pictures. Hold on. I wasn't prepared for pictures.
Images. Yeah, what the fuck is that website?
Oops.
Murder.
Open image, a new tab. This right here.
Murderpedia.
Open image, new tab. I'm gonna read from Wikipedia and then just fill in the blanks with the age timeline that I got from Murderpedia, because there's some gaps. Like always, there's always gaps. Get into those smooth crevices and there was gaps.
Now, so who wants to play a game?
I just wanna get in those gaps. Nothing too crazy. Just some gaps. All right, so this is him. Y'all ever seen Highway to Heaven? He kind of looks like this motherfucker.
Who?
Highway to Heaven? What's that guy's name? Hold on.
Man, he look crazy.
They were having a hard time getting him in the fucking car too.
The fuck is this nigga's name? Michael Landon.
Oh fuck, bro.
Anyway, that's him when he got caught, and this is him on death row. He looks like Miklo from
what
fucking.
the fuck kind of change is that?
He looks like Miklo from fucking Blood In, Blood Out.
That's a horrible change.
Oh shit, that hurt. Okay, so Glen Edward Rogers, right? He was born in Hamilton, Ohio. He was one of the 7 children of Edna and Claude Rogers.
God damn, bastard.
The thing about him, right, is that they didn't want him, and not just like when he was born, like before he was born, they didn't want him. Back in the day, you had to go to the court and get a signed court order or some fucking bullshit like that to get a hysterectomy to take all that shit out, so you can't have kids. and they already had 6 kids, bro. And the judge was like, "No, you don't have to do that because you're not in any physical danger." And right after she was denied the fucking hysterectomy, her serial killer son was born.
Oh shit!
Which was fucked up. July 15th, 1962. Glen Edward Rogers was born by cesarean section to Edna Rogers and her husband. He was the 6th of 7 total children. What? I don't know about that, Murderpedia.
He had 7 kids. I think he had more sisters than brothers, though. He had 2. I know he had 2 brothers for sure.
Yeah, he had sisters too. There was 7 of them. Yeah, 7. During his infant years, Glenn would sit and rock back and forth and continually bang his head against surfaces, never once crying. His emotions seemed flat. So Glenn was in diapers when Edna slapped him. Well, Glenn was in diapers when Edna slapped him so hard he was unable to breathe and he passed out. So you know most of these serial killers have crazy ass fucking upbringings.
Yeah.
When he learned to free his arms from the restraints that kept him tied in, because she would have to fucking tie him down because he got, kind of wild. He would eat the fucking lead paint off the walls, bang his head against the fucking walls too, so much so that he would pass out from it. He wouldn't cry or nothing. He would just pass the fuck out. During baths, his redheaded mother grabbed his head and held it under the water.
What kind of bitch is that?
That was the age of 3. So all of this was from when he was born to the age of 3. That's what they got on the timeline here. So where are we at on Wiki? Wiki. Says their father, Claude, was a hydro pulp operator at the local Champion Paper Company. After he lost his job from that paper company, though, they had to move into a lower class neighborhood.
No income.
Was it Dunder Mifflin?
Huh?
He's a paper company. Was it Dunder Mifflin?
It was a local paper company, it says.
Dunder
It doesn't say the name of it.
Yeah, try again, motherfucker.
Where was I?
Say try again, mother lover.
Hurry up and bye.
I don't even know where the fuck I was. Oh. When he got fired. His dad was a drunk also. He used to beat his mom and shit. They were together,
So that's kind of why I led him into drinking too.
No, he started drinking because of his brother.
Okay. I know he had a thing about redheads, but he wasn't like he preferred
the redhead thing was because of his mom.
Yeah, he preferred killing women that were redheads, but not all of them were redheads.
Yeah, they were.
Not all the bitches he killed. Not all the ones that he claimed. The ones that they prosecuted him for, yes. The 5
but not all the
people,
ones he claimed. I got you.
Yeah, you know what
I got you.
saying?
Yeah, I know what you're trying to say. Where the fuck was I? Today's a brave fart day. Where the fuck was I? When he learned to free his arms during baths, redheaded mom.
Alcoholism. His dad.
This motherfucker used to wet the bed till he was 12 years old.
I wet the bed till I was 18. You'll see me killing bitches. I keep it on it. More real motherfucker.
Fuck it. Shit happens. There was a story in one of the, I don't remember if it was the documentary or if it was one of the podcasts I listened to try to get some quick information because nobody got time to sit and read books.
Yeah.
It said his pops used to work for the United Way. And he used to take him sometimes to work with him overnight, cleaning the building or whatever the fuck. And his dad used to get prostitutes to go down and fuck in the basement. And he used to have to pick up the phone when his mother called. There was one night that his mother called and one of the prostitutes went upstairs. And I guess kind of taunted Glenn and called his mother a bitch. So Glenn pushed her down the stairs and killed her. And his dad had to cover everything up. Mm-hmm. He never took him back again. He was like, I can't fucking take you nowhere.
That's what he got his first heart off for fucking Glen.
Right. And he felt good. Like he wanted to tell his mom that he had done that to get her approval because he defended her honor. She called her a bitch and he pushed her down the stairs. Bitch broke her neck. But his pops put her in the trunk and they dumped her on the side of the road and kept it moving. So early on, he's already seeing the disregard for women. His mom was getting beat in front of him. His mom was fucking him up. Yeah. And he already had killed a bitch. Already. I had no remorse for it.
How did his mother die? Do we have any information on how his mother died?
I never looked it up.
Maybe he killed his fucking mother.
That's crazy. Like that was
his
like
mother was alive when he was on trial.
No, that was like a small introduction to how to drop off a body you didn't mean to kill.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm not condoning you kill anybody and then drop them off.
I would probably do it for my
let's
kid.
not do that.
I'll do it for my kid. Like if it was like a pure accident, I would probably do it. But if my kid wanted to kill somebody and killed them, then it's just like I don't know about all that.
By the age of 12, Glenn became addicted to drugs as a result of his older brother, Clay, who was a homosexual. I don't know why they added that in there.
His brother was a homo?
That's what it says here. During the same year, he and his brother began burglarizing houses for money and was later caught after robbing over 200 homes. No, they robbed 101 houses in 90 days.
101 in 90 days. So that means some of the days had 2-3 houses in them.
Yeah, at least 1 or 2 of them. And his brother said that Glenn got so good at it and so cocky about it, he would do things like go and rob the house while the ladies in the front yard doing the lawn or something. And walk out the front door right after fucking stealing shit.
He's a fucking beast. He's an art. It's an art. It's art. Became art to him.
Glenn was sent to reform school as a result of his criminal behavior and let out when he was 13. After that, he found naked photographs of his redheaded mother and attempted suicide by overdosing on 25 Motrin pain reliever pills. By then, I believe it's because unless it says different while we keep reading, I believe it was already happened that his dad either had a stroke-induced heart attack or a heart attack-induced stroke. One of the two. And he became debilitated and he couldn't do anything.
Yeah, that's when she started fucking mad niggas. I remember.
In front of him, bro. Yeah. In front of him. Yeah. And that's what
this is what you get. Wow. This is what you get. You want to fuck whores? You want to fuck whores?
Bro, that's where the pictures and shit were from that he found.
Damn.
How you trying to kill yourself with 25 Motrin after seeing your mom's pussy on a picture?
He ain't know nothing. He was 13,
That's
14.
Wow, bro. That's like finding out your mom's is on OnlyFans.
All the power to all her fans. Ooh.
I just won't use technology no more.
I'm glad technology wasn't a thing back then. At the age of 14, doctors learned of Glenn's unusual blood disorder that manifests when he became upset or angry about things he had no control. He would break out in red splotches over his face, arms, hands, and chest. Mad King George disease is what it's called.
Every time you got mad?
Porphyria.
So when he was fucked, he got like that too.
It says when he had no control over his anger or he was upset. Basically, instead of turning into the Hulk when he got angry, he just broke out in like hives.
That's what I'm saying. So every time his adrenaline went up, so when he was fucking, he probably turned.
But it
into
doesn't
that.
say his adrenaline went up. It just says when he was upset. So it's probably when his blood pressure went up.
So what I'm saying is that you fuck, most of the time your blood pressure doesn't go up. So what? Depending who you fucking.
I wonder if that shit happened to him when he killed his victims.
If you get some real salty vagina, your blood pressure can go up.
All right. At the age of 15, Glen met Debbie, who was a 13-year-old prostitute. Several weeks after they met, Glen was arrested and for aggravated menacing, his first arrest as an adult. That girl was pregnant when he got with her, and they got married, and he became the baby's father. He adopted the baby. By the age of 16, Glen was expelled from school, having reached his 16th birthday. He was in the 9th grade with F's in every subject. Okay, so it was here. It was the age of 17 where his dad suffered a life-threatening stroke that left him bedridden. Glen often dropped by to take care of his father while his mother went out in search of and found companionship. So basically, when his mom would become a whore. Glen saw his mom in a bar with another individual and beat them with a baseball bat in 1979. He later put his father in the car and took him to the bar to show him what his mother was doing.
Sick as a psycho. Bro.
That's an ill way to snitch.
Like, yo, look, Dad, you can't do nothing about it.
Bring your crippled ass here, cuz. Let me show you what's happening.
Yeah, did you hear that applause clapping? That was your mom's cheeks.
Yeah. He's like, yo, Dad, look what Mama's doing. Like, what the fuck is he gonna do?
You ever see somebody clapping no hands, son? Your mom can do it all day.
Debbie was 14 when she became pregnant while continuing her job. Glen was 17 and knew it wasn't his son, but Clinton Dwayne was born. Clinton Dwayne. His name's Clinton Dwayne. Fucking Clinton Dwayne. That's my boy, Clinton Dwayne. He was born August 26, 79, and Glen later adopted him and gave him the Rogers name. In 1980, Glen and Debbie were married, and in 1981, they had their second son, Jonathan Claude Rogers.
What? Jonathan
Claude Rogers. So the Claude is after his dad. His dad's name was Claude. In 82, Glen thought Debbie was cheating and followed her. After he witnessed her pick up a man, he followed her home and beat her violently, striking her several times in the vagina with the toe of a steel-toed boot. Even with consecutive surgery, it mentally damaged her. He believed that if he could not have her sexually, then no one could. Yo, he fucked up her pussy so bad she needed surgery.
And it goes at me.
That's the true definition of beat it up. Beat it up. Beat the pussy up.
He beat it up.
Nigga, he punched that shit like a boxing bag.
He punched it
beat
3
the
times.
Pussy up is an understatement, bro.
She had surgery. He was like, no one will ever fuck you.
You got mental issues for you to have to do all that.
I'm convinced they had to sever the clit.
They had to.
It's too much nerve damage, man. We have to take this. It's collateral damage.
We'll take it. We'll give it to an innocent baby.
Your pussy will never be eaten again.
Never would it. No man will want sight of this vagina.
You ever heard of Arby's?
Oh,
they have the meats.
Roast beef.
Yeah, he beats the roast beef.
Damn, that was disturbing.
Yeah, you can't destroy the beef crickets like that. That's just wrong.
Where was I? In 1982 to 1985, Glen and Catherine married Copoina, with whom he had a son, moved to Los Angeles. Okay, so he left her after that, right? And he boogied to LA where he found another bitch and got that bitch pregnant, had another baby.
We got a whole bunch of little baby Glens out there. We got 2 of them out there already. Oh man,
2 and a half because he's adopted by him.
Nah. You scared out there, people. We got little baby Rogers out there.
In 86, Glen's brother Clay introduced Glen to Shonda Price, of whom they had pulled several hustles and cons throughout Ohio and Kentucky with. Glen went to the emergency room after being overly intoxicated, and I remember hearing this in a couple of things, but I didn't believe it to be true. Because how dumb can somebody fucking be? This motherfucker was such an alcoholic. He injected Budweiser into his veins, bro.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that. That dude's that's crazy.
Who the fuck does that?
How much of a beer buzz do you need to try to inject it?
That probably was the last couple beers he had. So I gotta get fucked up. I ain't gonna get fucked up both these.
What the fuck was that?
Injection of malt liquor.
He admitted to using cocaine on a steady basis. So he was on a cocaine high when he did that shit. Like, something got to bring me down.
That's a bad way to come down. Injecting beer.
That's horrible, bro.
Should have just kept taking shots of Everclear.
I wonder what he felt that he had to go to the fucking hospital. Because, like, who the fuck injects their fucking
self
veins with fucking Budweiser? What type of shit is that?
I've never heard of that.
Never in my life.
Never have I heard of that idea. I don't think I would ever think of that.
Who would, bro? That's a real white boy shit.
He does understand that it has to go through the liver so that you can get drunk.
He probably took the term blood alcohol content to heart.
Yeah, he wasn't that smart. He getting F's in each class, so he didn't even get one fucking D, not even one D.
Fort Hamilton Hughes Memorial Hospital comments on Glen's mental condition. They say Glen is a mentally ill person subject to hospitalization by court order. He represents a risk of physical harm to himself as manifested by evidence of threats of or attempts of suicide. So they already recommended in 86 that he be committed. And they didn't commit him. At that point, you don't have to commit to going. If they deem you a risk to yourself or others, they keep you.
That's it. So what?
And they keep him. And this is not the first time, and hopefully in this thing that I'm reading, that you'll see that he got let off with either a slap on the wrist or no charges at all, and wound up killing all these fucking females.
That's crazy, bro.
It all began with the fuck up in the hospital when they chose not to fucking stop his mother from having him.
With the judge. It was the judge. You had to get a court order in order to do that shit.
That's crazy.
It's fucking cold in here. All right, where the fuck was I? Glen's father died in late 86. And in 87, he was charged 3 times for public intoxication and once for drunk driving. In 89, he was dating a woman by the name of Joyce Arthur. When he and Clay sexually abused her after getting her intoxicated, Glen then stole her money and left town. But you see what I mean? His brother got into it with him a couple of times. So how am I didn't go to that part in a documentary, I think.
Yeah, people. There was a documentary that his brother made called My Brother the Serial Killer, right? That's what it's called.
Yeah, but I don't think I have that part. I think I skipped over it for other parts. But what I'm talking about is have it queued up to show you guys. But there is a part in the documentary when he said him and his brother went, you know, on the road through the country, through the United States, driving and robbing people. So that, if you ask me, my opinion is that that's when him and his brother started killing bitches, not just fucking him. But I digress. Where the fuck was I? Glenn was charged 3 times for public intoxication. In '89, he was dating this bitch. And from '89 to '93, he went. And this is where some people believe if he did kill 70 people, this is where it started. When he joined the circus and started fucking traveling the whole United States with the circus.
Yeah,
Hey,
with the
nothing
circus.
crazier than being part of a circus show.
No, but in his brother's book, he talks about a lot about the circus, where it was so easy to kill people and get away with it because they were always moving. They were always moving, and no one will ever think a member of the circus would kill someone.
Boy, was he wrong. People fucking hated carnies, bro.
And then it makes a lot of sense because you do travel constantly.
And that's probably where he learned his escape patterns from, because
What was his job? Yeah, what was his job at the circus?
I don't know.
You never say that.
And everything that I've seen or heard, they never said what he did.
Maybe he was the bearded woman.
I mean, he could have passed for the bearded woman, I guess, if he threw some titties on him. In '91, Glenn was charged with reckless driving, causing fire, creating a substantial risk of physical harm to property of another without his consent. Second-degree misdemeanor, whatever the fuck that means. Glenn files a fictitious report with the Hillsborough County Police stating that his 1972 Caprice has been stolen from a BP from Clay. He told police Clay had threatened him with a .380 caliber revolver in order to steal $104 from his wallet as well as his vehicle. Yeah. Yeah. All right.
So they're just on the road popping bitches' wigs off and just dumping them on the side of the road, right next to their circus.
No, that he was killing bitches every time they would surface at a new city. But what Jason is saying that his brother spent a lot of time on the road with him. So Jason is saying that he thinks that his brother had a hand in some of the killings, with the 70 plus killings that he had did.
Yeah, not the ones he was convicted for, just the ones that nobody believes he did.
Because the only reason why they only convicted him of 5 is because they only found 5 bodies, and then the other ones they say it's not linked to him. But
yeah, there's no real evidence.
But there is evidence, but it was tossed because he was always, when all these people died that he claimed that he killed, he was always in the city around that time that he killed.
Yeah.
Either working or working at the carnival.
In 1992, a redhead named Carrie Gaskins, one of the girls he pimped, was found dead by her daughter.
Oh shit! You didn't kill his daughter though?
But that's not when he started. It said he started killing. In '92, Glenn was using James Peters' ID and worked for a painting company.
Yeah.
We're gonna come back to this part in time at the end of the show, because there's a statement here that he worked for a high-profiling a high-profile person,
We don't want to get to that name yet.
and that they party together. Yeah, I don't want to get to that name yet. But this is in 92 is supposedly when he met somebody of interest to us.
To everyone.
In 93, Glenn engages in a fist fight with a co-worker at a wagon wheel flea market in Pinellas County, Florida. Their manager called the police, but Glenn had fled the scene by the time they arrived. In April of 93, Glenn found by a policeman covered in blood and bruises. Glenn claims to have been assaulted by his boss with a metal pipe, who then stole his wallet. His boss, William Harris, was charged with battery.
Oh, shit.
This motherfucker. Yo, there was a story where his fucking mother was like, yeah, he fell into like this toxic waste puddle and was just splashing around. This motherfucker got a Joker origin.
Word, right? Something straight out of Gotham City. Who just falls in the sludge tank?
And nothing happens to them. He probably fucking inhaled that shit and then fucking turned him into the devil.
Bro, a lot of shit could have fucking contributed to his fucking mental illness. They said his mom basically drowned him almost every time she gave that motherfucker a bath. He used to bang his fucking head against the wall so hard that he would fucking pass out. There's a lot of shit, bro.
Is there any
that all
pictures?
takes effect on your fucking dome piece.
Does Google have any pictures of his father? Did he look like his father? Maybe his mother hated the father and would take it out on him. A lot of mothers do that. Now you look just like your father.
Oh, remember, she didn't want him, bro.
That was another factor. Main factor.
In 1993, 16-year-old Hamilton girl, Kellyanne Marigo's body was found 2 weeks after she had been seen leaving a biker bar. At 16. In 93, Glenn raped and murdered a prostitute by the name of Mary. I don't know what that was.
It doesn't say where.
No, it doesn't say where. Also in 93, Glenn's first wife, Debbie, died of diabetic complications involving cocaine use. What the
shit.
fuck?
Cocaine gives you diabetes now? I don't know.
Or back then. But she died of fucking cocaine-induced diabetes, but this motherfucker didn't die from injecting fucking Budweiser into his veins.
Yo, that shit is wild.
Or she thought she was getting coke, but it was splicing that bitch with sugar, but she was getting coke and sugar at the same time.
The booger sugar?
The booger sugar for real.
Where the fuck was I? Also in 93, okay, so this is where the murders start. It says here, authorities in Hamilton, Ohio suspected Rogers of fatally stabbing or strangling an elderly man in the city of 1993. Later, Rogers moved away from Ohio, surfacing in California. And in 95, he was named a suspect in the murder. Oh, no. What the fuck? Why are you jumping? Oh, right here. Oh, why?
We having some technical difficulty.
No, I'm just trying to match up where they both are saying this shit. So it says here on Murderpedia in 93, Glenn was staying with one Mark Peters when Glenn murdered him and buried his body in the family cabin and sold off his belongings. He was working with Liz, a 40-year-old redhead that they believed is buried near the old Las Vegas bus station. By the time police discovered Mark's body, Glenn was in California and had already been arrested on another incident for using Mark's son, James Parks' identification.
James Parks Peters.
Let me see if this is where the first video comes in of his brother. His brother, bro, it's like... Let me just play it.
His brother's a sick fuck, too.
His
Brother
brother's
was
just
arrested.
fuck too.
Yeah, he was arrested for a lot of things. Assault, fucking all types of shit.
I think it's here.
Glenn and I were
All right,
second conmen on these road trips, and we did many different things, hustling the bars at night. And we were doing burglaries during the day between 10 and 2. Glenn didn't worry about getting caught. He said, I'll just stick them. And I said, no, we don't stick. We don't hurt nobody. You don't have to hurt somebody to make some money. That winter, we headed south, crossing one state line after another. We had to jump on the law, and we were making crime pay.
Making crime pay, literally.
All that trip, I'd heard Glenn mouth off about killing. Then I saw blood.
Here's where it starts getting crazy because
Georgia. Me and my brother Glenn was staying there. He had left the night before after I'd gotten drunk.
How's he not an accessory to murder?
He woke me up about 6:30 in the morning, maybe even earlier. It was still dark. He was covered in blood, clothes all torn up. Things were all over the motel room. Stolen tools, jewelry, everything. I told him to get in the bathroom, get them clothes off, and get cleaned up, that we had to get out of there. The less willing I was to cross the line violence, the more he adamantly wanted to cross the line. It was like he knew I didn't want to do it. Like I was afraid to do it. And he wanted to show me, look, I can do this. When Glenn got back after that road trip, he was more violent and totally out of control. I split from Glenn, got a day job, and tried to go straight.
Why? Why did you try to go straight? Because what was happening? What were
Because he saw some shit.
When I worked at a donut shop in Covington, Kentucky, one evening late at night,
I don't know. I think it's because he was doing some
driving
shit.
a car, yelling up the window for me to come down because he said he had someone for me to meet. When I got down to the car, he opened the trunk, and there was a body of a dead woman in the trunk. Of course, he kind of freaked me out a lot. I told him to get that thing out of here. That's not the first time or the second time that he had done that. He's come to my house and told me that he's had a body in the trunk. I got one in a duffel bag. Help me get rid of this thing. It's too heavy. You don't pay no attention. You don't go with it. But after the first time
how you don't pay no attention, bro?
And then you're caught in a dilemma. Do I call the police? Do you call your mom? Who do you call?
Ghostbusters at that point. They're already fucking dead. Dre says either your mic or cam is not on, bro. My brother's serial killer.
I want to see it.
Lee County.
In 1993, me and my brother Glenn had been cutting tobacco in Kentucky when I got into a fight and went to jail for a couple of months. When I got out, I headed for the hills to our old family farm.
Here's where
I went to
I was just
the cabin up here to stay
about.
for a few days. And I noticed that all the furniture in the cabin had been thrown into the back room. And I walked to the back room over here, and I started pulling things out, to get some cushions together and some place to sit. And I planned on staying a few days.
I'm going to stay
So
in
I
this
reached down to grab this blue
cat.
blanket and pull it out of the way. And as I did so, an arm came out of the side of it. Shocked me to death. I wasn't sure who it was or how it got there. All I know is I wasn't going to be the last person to leave this cabin.
Oh, now I got to say something because my fingerprints
as I was
are
leaving,
place.
on this wall written here was a message that said, the shit is going to hit the fan. Get out of here. I knew it was Glenn that had left the message because he had signed it with my dad's shot glass, and only he would have done that.
Why only he would have done that? Looks like you did it with no problem.
He's fucking weird. You saw how he was at the window? You saw how he was at the window? He was like, wow.
Just wow. An arm falling out from a blanket.
But he eventually did. He took his brother in.
He's the one who told the people, told the police. Right?
He told them about the Mark Peters, the guy in the cabin.
That was his old boss. He stole his identity, right? He stole both him and his son's identity. Are you okay, Jason?
I'm okay. I just fucked up the second video, so I'm trying to put it back where I had it.
All right, his brother to me, my opinion on his brother is.
His brother was what?
My opinion on Claude, right? Claude was his name? No, Claude. Claude was his father. On Clay was, I think Clay, like Clay never got his hands dirty when it came to killing somebody. I'm not saying that he's not capable. I just don't feel like he would cross that. I think he would get real violent, probably hurt somebody, go to jail. But if Clay wanted someone dead and his brother would say, I'll kill him for you, I'm pretty sure Clay would allow it.
Bro, I don't know. I still,
he's definitely accessory.
If he didn't help him kill most of them 70, then he at least knew about more than half of them bitches.
But yo, he says it. He told them every time he fucking killed somebody, he would gloat. He would gloat. Oh, I killed this bitch. I killed this motherfucker.
In 95, Glen was arrested for assault with a deadly weapon in Los Angeles. He served 36 months.
He was good.
36 days in prison.
Listen, I'm not gonna, this sounds fucked up, but if he really killed 71 and it took him that many years, he was good at what he did. He was a good fucking killer. Getting away with it was pretty easy for him. If you say,
it was more than easy for him. It almost became a way of life. Oh shit! My bad. I had to stretch my legs
because he went cross county several times in all directions.
Cross country.
I said cross county. Cross country, in all directions of the map. Well, how we don't know that he killed more than 70? He's saying 70. He probably lost track. That's probably the last time he remembered.
Crazy thing is they had him in their possession multiple times. Look, it says here in September of 95, he was arrested again for beating his girlfriend. Because he was still on probation, Glen should have received a 2.5-year sentence for the beating. However, the judge was unaware of the previous sentence and he was released on time served of 2 days.
That's fucking crazy. So many times, so close, they could have stopped him from killing all these fucking people.
And bro, we see that a lot with most of these serial killer stories that we cover. Not only do they have rough upbringing, they either have a horrible relationship with one or both of their parents. Yep. Almost all of them were either sexually assaulted in some way, or they were introduced to the whole sex scene early on.
Yep.
All right, so here is where the juice starts, pun intended. So we spoke about Mark Peters, which so Mark Peters may not be his first killing, but Mark Peters was the first killing he was suspected of. Okay. In January of 94.
And that's because Mark Peters was his employer.
No, Mark Peters
is the son of.
No, Mark Peters was a friend of the family. So he got kicked out of the house, and Mark Peters gave him a place to live and threw him some work here and there.
That's what I'm trying to say. He worked for Mark Peters. Mark Peters has his own painting company. And then James Peters was the son of Mark Peters, which he used his identity a lot as well. Yep. In California. He got an ID in James Peters' name. he had an ID in Mark Speeder's names as well.
He had their socials too.
Yeah, he was getting credit cards. He was using their bank. Like, you know, he would walk around sometimes in suits. I don't know if they say that in the Murderpedia. And like high value suits, he would just walk around with that shit, act like he was rich or important.
He put up the facade so good. He was partying with the elite. And it says here on September 28th, 1995, Sandra Gallagher, a 33-year-old mother of three, was seen to encounter Rogers at McRed's Bar in Van Nuys, California. The next day, Gallagher's badly burned corpse was found in her truck parked rear of Rogers Van Nuys' apartment. She was found to have been strangled. Authorities allege that after murdering Gallagher, Rogers fled to the southeast, living for a time in Mississippi, Florida, and Louisiana. In each state, he was suspected for the murders of another woman. Now, this shit was crazy with Sandra Gallagher, because he killed her. He choked her in the truck, right?
Yeah.
He put her fucking windpipe, left her there.
He crushed the windpipe?
He crushed the windpipe, and he left her there, right? And he set the car on fire. But when he did that, he only poured gasoline on her. So that's how they knew it was somebody's doing. You know what I mean? It wasn't something that happened with the engine, because it would have been all over the rug and everything, and it wasn't. It was on her. She was on fire, and the engine was on fire. So
it's funny because I saw
front and gas.
I saw a movie. It was funny because I saw a movie that they made, and in the movie they shot, and in the movie it was done the whole opposite way, where he just poured gas on the top of the car. That's it.
He did that, and he poured it on her.
Yeah, but I think he poured it on her because when they found her body, she was fucking like the last French fry.
Yeah, but he did pour it on the car itself too, because the engine was on fire.
This guess he didn't put. He put most of it on her.
Yeah. So remember, they said he fled to Mississippi after that. And according to Kathy Carroll, her sister Linda Price met Rogers at a bar tent in Mississippi on the Mississippi State Fair in fall of '95. He reportedly said, "Ain't he good looking?" Rogers and Price briefly shared an apartment in Jackson, Mississippi. Price was a single mother, age of 34, with two children, then 15 and 18. The last time Carol saw her sister was the night before Halloween of '95. The two planned to have Carol's grandchildren go trick-or-treating at Price's apartment, but Price did not answer her door on Halloween, and Rogers appeared to have left. Similar to his other suspected female victims, Price was in her 30s and had red hair. She was found dead in a bathtub in her apartment.
This is after he burns the girl, right?
This is after he burns the girl. Remember, they said he went to Mississippi, Jackson, Wait. They said he went to Mississippi, Florida, and Louisiana. So that was Mississippi. In Florida, on November 5th, 95. So look at that timeline, though, bro. Right?
Yeah.
Sandra Gallagher was killed September 28th. Linda Price was killed in October, Halloween. And then Tina Cribbs on November 5th.
That shit was bang, 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 bang.
Cribbs was seen leaving the Showtown bar in Gibson, Florida with Rogers.
Yeah, he had a thirst for murder, bro. He definitely did.
And the thing was, he's not hiding who he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's letting everybody know exactly who he is. He's charming the fuck out of everybody. He's giving what the young kids call it today. He had that riz. He was rizzing them up.
He was risen aside.
And it wasn't just the bitches either. It was the people surrounding them too.
Yeah, but wasn't he infamous also for right before killing them, he would rape them and leave semen in them. He would leave
some of them.
So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Some of them, but
So this girl he met at the bar, right? And it wasn't. She wasn't the one that he was after initially. It was the bartender. He kept going in there for days trying to get the bartender's number and shit. And the bartender wasn't having it. So he seen her. She came in one day. Let me make sure this is the bitch. Yeah, I believe this was her. Yeah. So she had won a $1,500 lottery ticket. And she went into the bar. She was happy. She was letting everybody know. And that attracted Glen, right? Because that's what he likes. He likes to find women that he could take advantage of. Oh, shit, I almost died. Find women that he can steal from, essentially.
Yeah, because essentially
he
was a burglar. He was someone that would not mug you, but like he would burglarize. That's essentially what he really was. It was just the murders was just the icing on the cake. It was like coming to fruition, you know. The murders was like, you know, leaving his mark. But he's more of a con man, a burglar. You know, he was just a thief by heart. But the murders,
it's just like his brother said, he was a con man.
Yeah, the murders was just the icing on the cake. You know, just like, this is where I leave my print in history, whatnot. Well, you know, whatever was in his fucking sadistic, crooked ass mind. But I understand that completely.
So she agreed to give him a ride home. Where the fuck was I? Bartender, police, blah, 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 blah. Yes. Later, he asked Cribs for a ride. 2 days later, a member of the cleaning staff at the Tampa 8 Inn discovered Cribs' body in a bathtub, like that of Price in Mississippi. She had been stabbed in the chest and in the ass. A clerk at the motel told authorities that Rogers had arrived at the motel a few days before the murder. On November 5th, Rogers had paid an extra night and asked that the room not be cleaned. Where the fuck my tissue go? Not be cleaned. The clerk saw Rogers putting his belongings in a white Ford Festiva. The next day, Cribs' wallet was discovered at a rest stop in North Florida. Police found that the fingerprints lifted from her wallet and the motel room matched those of Rogers.
That was in Jacksonville, right? It said North Florida. I think that was Jackson because I know it was one in Jacksonville too.
Yeah. It says on November 13th, Rogers was arrested in Kentucky while driving a Cribs car. So I feel like they missed somebody.
They missed they got the extra crispy bitch.
There's a lady right here in
Marks Peters.
Says there's a lady here in Louisiana.
He got one at Mississippi as well.
Andy Jules Sutton was known acquaintance of Rogers. Her slashed body was found on November 9th in 95 on a punctured waterbed in her apartment.
Yeah. That one too.
So before he was caught, though, first of all, before he was caught, He went back, and I think it was the lady from Louisiana, but he tried to gift the car that he was riding in to her. One of these women, it was said that, or a woman that's not on this list, it was said that he was like really fond of her and would give her repeated gifts, and most of those gifts were from the previous victims.
Okay. Because you see, yeah, I was just gonna say that he was also known for every time he would kill the victim. He like obviously we already said he stole the identities, the IDs, credit cards, all that social, but he will always take their car and he'll give it to someone else or he will abandon it. If he couldn't give it to someone, he would just abandon it.
And that's how he would get around.
Yeah, that's how you get around. Because back then you wasn't getting a lot of traffic stops, especially if you was a man with blonde fucking hair and blue eyes. You know what I'm saying? No offense.
He was the complexion of protection.
Yeah, it was the complexion of protection. But like he had the golden hair, blue eyes. He was a so-called painter, ex. You know, they didn't know he was in the.
But he was a pretty boy. He rizzed everybody up. He didn't just rizz.
And he wasn't. He wasn't fat. He wasn't skinny. He was kind of a muscular guy. He was in shape. You know what I'm saying? He was tall. You know.
Yeah, that's why they called him the Casanova killer, because he was a good-looking guy.
Yeah, and he had broad shoulders, everything a woman looking for. So they're not traffic stopping him, you know. They're not getting him for that. You know, the stupid days when he got drunk, you know, they got him for DUI and whatnot. But he will always lie his way out too. He was very clever. He was very clever at what he did.
His brother thought that he was on his way home when he got caught, and I believe a cousin turned him in. And that's when
he also blamed a lot of shit on Clay. I remember seeing one thing when they caught him, and they said, "When you got this car, is unmarked, it has no registration, nothing. It belongs to someone else." He says, "Oh, that car was loaned to me by my brother," or he'll say, "Mark Peters or James Peters or something loaned him the car. He didn't know," and they'll just let him off.
So they seen this motherfucker driving down the highway, right? Because they got tipped off that he was going to be there.
Yeah, they got the video on that. I don't know if you found it.
Nah, I didn't know they had the video.
They got the video of the whole car chase. You just gotta find it. It's hard to find. Like actual real clip of when the cops actually hit his car, and it goes like the car like I think flips once or twice, or it gets hit real hard and it like flips over, and then that's how they get him out.
Bro, he started tossing beer cans at them.
It was a car chase, yeah.
It up, he'll drink half of it and then he'll throw the other half at them. I think I got it right here.
It's real quick. The one I saw was real quick. I've seen a few clips of it where it was real quick. Yeah.
So this is the cop car.
It says 2014. That says 2014 on it, dude.
Motherfucker. They got me. They got me, partner. The one that I got here, this is him getting arrested.
The nationwide manhunt started closing in on Glen Rogers here in Waco, Kentucky, about 3 o'clock today.
Let's see if they show it.
At this point, Rogers is only minutes away on Kentucky 52, being chased downhill at high speed by Kentucky state troopers.
I think they're going to show it right now.
Race to set up this roadblock.
Yeah, look,
the
roadblock
right doesn't stop Glen Rogers. 2 minutes later, though, other troopers do by ramming his car, forcing him off the road, dragging him out moments later at gunpoint.
That's what they take him out. He's completely fucking high. He's blasted. He's drunk. He's coked out his mind. Look, all these men is having problems with him. Look, when he gets up.
Channel 9 videographer Chick Poppy asking him the question on everyone's mind tonight.
Why'd you do it, Glenn? Why'd you give up getting so much pussy and started killing him?
Why you did that, Glenn?
No, the reporter asked him, "Did you do it? Did you do it, Glenn? Did you kill those girls?"
Look, they try to put him in the car, and he pushes them back. Look.
He was like, "1-on-1, meet me at the jailhouse."
Moments later, as he was transferred to another trooper's car, I asked an angry Glen Rogers the same question again.
They're really blocking him out? That's crazy.
So this is when they have a hard time trying to push him in the car.
Yeah, but what's the point of putting this up for people's educational purposes?
Look, you see?
Every time he speaks, you're gonna fucking mute the fucking thing,
they
bro.
Can't get him in the car. Look. He don't get in until he goes in.
It's a strong motherfucker.
They would try to push him down. Nigga would not move when the buds. Yeah, so you have to watch it yourself to hear it. They won't let us play it. He said some crazy shit to the guy.
Nah, he told the guy, if you want to know, you come to the jail and interview me one-on-one.
Bro, that motherfucker didn't give a fuck about anything, bro.
On July 11th, 1997, he was convicted in Florida and sentenced to death for the murder of Tina Marie Cribbs. I believe that was the girl that he set on fire.
He was sentenced in 97 in Florida, but
that was the one that was left in the hotel room.
Yeah, he was sentenced in 97 in Florida to the chair, but he got transferred to California and got the chair in California.
No, he's still alive, nigga. He's awaiting death row in Florida. Cause they stopped. Stopped. Yeah,
I Googled it this afternoon. It said that he was sentenced in 97. He was on death row for 2 years and got killed. They sent him to California and they gave him the chair in 99.
Bro, he's still alive.
What?
Yeah, there's no interviews of him. He's still alive.
Get the fuck out of here. Wonder why that picture was so old.
He's still awaiting his death date in Florida. Because they didn't put him in California because California, yes, they gave the death penalty, but they stopped executing people.
I say he's definitely alive still.
Yeah, he's alive.
Because I think I might read it wrong. I'm looking at it again. I think he went to California to get sentenced for some killings over there, and they gave him the death penalty too, and then they sent him back to Florida. Maybe.
Yeah, they sent him back to Florida to await the death penalty. So it says here, Rogers drove north to Louisiana and was arrested in Waco, Kentucky after a 13-mile chase on November 3rd, 95. Detective Bob Stevens noticed a man driving Cribbs' stolen car. He chased him, followed by a rookie Irving, Kentucky police officer, Charles Cox. Trooper Ed Robinson and other officers set up a roadblock to stop Rogers. But Robinson, what the fuck? Where's the period, motherfucker? No, it says to stop Rogers, and then it says Robinson fired a shotgun blast that hit the rear tires, but it didn't stop Rogers. Yeah. Robinson joined the pursuit. Sergeant Joey Barnes, who formerly served the Florida Highway Patrol, rammed his car into Cribbs' stolen car and spun Rogers off the highway into a ditch.
They have a clip of that where they ram it on the side of his car, like the tailgate. The tailgate him, and then they ram it on the side. And then he spins out.
After being convicted and sentenced to death for Cribbs' murder, Rogers was scheduled to be executed on Valentine's Day in 99 in Florida. He has filed various appeals, but these have been denied. Rogers is still being held on death row at Union Correctional Institute in Railford, Florida.
Let me ask you a question. Why is it that these people get sentenced to death, right? But then they on death row for many years. Why is that? I never understood that.
The same way people buy fucking furs of animals only to have PETA throw paint on it. It's all because of the public.
No, I thought in my mind, I was always like, is there a waiting list? Is there a waiting list of some sort? Like,
What you mean a waiting list?
like how does it work? Like, all right, if I kill somebody, I get the death sentence. Come on, engineer. I get the death sentence, and then they say, yo, you sentenced to death by chair. Why it takes 10 to 15 years for me to get the chair? Why not just give it to them? Or you'll be sentenced to death next week.
That's because you're part of state property. The longer they have you incarcerated or actually being held, that pays for people's place to be in there.
No, I know that.
Yeah, but they also have to pay for his fucking food and shit, medical bills, all of that.
Yeah.
Yep, that shit's still being paid for. It ain't free just because you're locked up. It's because they can't just let you die. It's inhumane.
No, they could let you die. They kill prisoners all the time and act like it didn't happen.
Well, but of course, you gotta do it.
They kill a lot of innocent people too. There's a lot of innocent people getting the chair as well.
I told you, he's the complexion of protection.
You gotta have a paper trail like, yo, you gotta be like, yo, Macho was eating good. He was working out. I don't know what could have happened to him. He looked like he was doing good. He's scaring niggas in the yard, and all of a sudden, he in the medical ward. I don't know. He looked good.
Honestly, bro, him killing those, him being convicted of killing those 5 people is not even one of the biggest things that has come from his story. Check this out. From the same documentary. Is it this one?
Chat, Jay. If you got a link to it.
A link to what?
Because if you think about it, that means he's been on death row
for documentary.
25
it's
years.
on YouTube, bro.
Yeah.
Is it this one or is it this one? I think it's this one.
Glen was my partner in crime for many, many years, and he was the closest person in my family that there ever was. I was in trouble.
They look exactly the same.
He was still my brother.
Oh, that's the wrong one.
I could understand that shit though. Like I truly could though. Like I don't have a brother. I have 5 sisters, but I have no brothers. But I could understand that. Like I'd be like, yo, I want to do it. What the fuck is wrong with you? And I would, it would be fucked up. But
Glen Rogers to
no, almost fucked up.
I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to time it perfectly.
No, you know what it is? I have 3 clips from the same video on YouTube.
Yeah, right.
I'm trying to figure out which one was it. I think it's this one. It has to be this one.
But Glen was now far from Kentucky. He'd gone back to California, and soon he was calling me saying,
now, remember, there was a name that we had redacted for this for the sake of the episode when we were reading some of the things that he was doing. The name that was redacted earlier in the episode is about to come up right now.
he was hanging out with Hollywood types like Nicole Simpson.
There we go, buddy. Nicole Brown Simpson.
Oh, shit.
In January 1994, an earthquake rocked Los Angeles. About the time the quake hit, my brother Glen showed up in town.
I was working in Los Angeles at the time. The Northridge earthquake hit earlier that year, and I was working for a company doing earthquake damage.
A few months later, Glen risked coming back home, even though Ohio police wanted him for questioning.
In 1994, Glen was living in L.A., and he came back to Hamilton for a visit, and that's why I decided to have a cookout and have my family over. He told me that he'd met this beautiful girl out in California, and her name was Nicole, and said that he'd done work for her in her house, and said that they'd went out a couple times for drinks. And he said, you know, Sean, my daughter, and her look so much alike.
That's disgusting.
And he said, she's married to a football player. See, he don't know much about sports. And he said, this football player, and he's black. He's famous, but I don't remember his name. He just remembered Nicole.
That's crazy.
That's not even the craziest thing from this. Like,
Mix, just listen.
And I talked to him, and he asked me, "So guess who I'm partying with? Nicole Simpson." And nobody knew who that was. I thought, well, who's that? Bart Simpson's sister? I mean, just joking. He said, no. That's when he told me that was O.J. Simpson's wife. Actually, what he told me, he says, they got money, they're well off, and I'm taking her down.
I'm taking her down.
That's a gruesome scene, bro.
The body of a woman reported to be Nicole Brown Simpson, ex-wife of football star O.J. Simpson, and a man identified as Ronald Goldman were found early this morning. Further reports
Ronald
from Los
Goldman looked
Angeles
like a cokehead. I'm sorry.
The case is being treated as a homicide.
He definitely was.
And then I saw pictures of her, and I said, that's who Glen was telling me about.
That's his mother, right?
I think that's his mother or his sister.
That's his sister.
A warrant for the arrest of O.J. Simpson, charging him with the murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Lyle Goldman.
I read how the LA District Attorney charged O.J. with the murders. I believed my brother was involved, but who in the hell was going to listen to me?
Meanwhile, investigators for the defense found signs that pointed in Glen's direction.
This is where the murder happened. Straight across the street was Nicole's place.
Listen to this part. It's
The
very
most significant witness in the whole case was Tom Lang. Lived down the street. He came up to this corner, started to walk across the street, gave a verbal command to his dog, and he spotted Nicole Simpson. He locked eyes, as his words, he locked eyes with her, and then went that way. He also noticed a man in an angry stance right in front of her gate, and he described that person as either white, Asian, or Hispanic, but definitely not African-American. He saw a white Ford F-350 vehicle parked in the street. It would be my wish to find out who it was that was driving that Ford F-350.
Yep. He used to use that truck to work.
Letters and pay stubs show that Glen was living in Hollywood and working for a company fixing houses and painting across the city. As a painter, Glen had access to a white pickup truck like the one seen at Nicole's place.
Yep.
And there were more clues tying Glen to the murders.
We felt throughout the criminal case and to this day that killer came from the world of Faye Resnick. Faye Resnick was a friend of Nicole's. Faye Resnick was a drug user, a drug abuser, a drug addict that had gone into treatment. She hung with people from a very dark world.
Glen told me that he had set up Faye Redmond and Nicole Simpson, and they met him at a Van Nuys nightclub. He set them up to rob them. Whether or not he was going to kill them or not, I don't know. He expected just the two girls to be there. But I guess that Ron Goldman showed up.
Now there are other theories as to who killed Nicole Simpson. There's a theory that Jason Simpson killed her. And there's another theory that says a drug cartel killed her because she owed coke money and OJ refused to pay.
He paid for many years.
Yeah, but then he refused to pay after.
He got upset. That's why you can hear in the 911 call when she's telling him, "Oh, the kids are sleeping," and then he tells her, you wasn't being quiet when you was sucking dick in the living room. Now where's the fucking black book? The black book is never brought up in the trial. The black book is where she had all the numbers of different drug dealers or people that can get her connected to drug dealers, and he wanted her to stop bringing them drug dealers to the house or them addicts to the house where his children were staying.
And she's sucking dick in the living room for coke. What the fuck?
Yeah, she was fucking around. She was fucking around crazy.
Yeah. It all started like their relationship was fine, but it all started where she first slept with Marcus, which was a good friend of OJ's, and then OJ.
Yeah, I heard of that guy.
OJ
Marcus
got
Allen.
yeah, and then OJ got back at her by sleeping with Kris Kardashian, Robert Kardashian's wife at the time, and that's why Robert didn't talk to him for 2-3 years before that case happened, and then he swindled him to get him back on the case with him because he needed a face. Because he hadn't practiced law for almost 20 years before that case came out. But I subsided that. What I'm trying to say is that I feel like Rogers did kill Nicole Brown because
You're not the only one that. Yeah, look at these receipts. You're not the only one that feels like that.
There's receipts of that time.
Look at this.
Get into the house of Nicole Brown Simpson and get a pair of earrings. Essentially, his belief was that they were worth $20,000. Glenn told me that OJ's instructions were that you may have to kill the bitch. Those were his exact words. Glenn Rogers explained to me that he had parked his Ford pickup truck on a side street right by the side of the condo. He explained that OJ knew of a spare set of keys in the rear of the condo. The idea was that actually the murder would take place inside the home. Once Glenn got the keys, he then crouched down just past the front of the gate. At that moment is when Ronald Goldman walks through the front gate. Glenn Rogers realized that Ronald Goldman suddenly became an obstacle that needed to be dealt with. He struck him with a large knife, incapacitating him, and threw him against the tree.
Where his body was later found.
It's not something that I'd expected Rogers to say. He said that upon her entering into the fray, he stabbed Nicole Brown Simpson once, and she fainted. He shot the woman and pushing him against the tree, where he later was found deceased. He said that he pulled her hair back to expose her neck and pulled the knife once to sever her neck.
Like Michael Myers.
OJ, anything you can tell us?
OJ didn't want to, quote, get his hands dirty, per se, in the crimes. He was essentially going to check on Glenn's work.
If Glenn's story was true, there had to be something at the crime scene to show he'd been there.
Right. Check this shit out.
Sure enough, evidence came out in the Simpson trial that 2 men were there. Shoe prints spelled out a story in blood.
And that's still not even the biggest thing, bro.
FBI agent William Bodziak went halfway around the world to find these expensive Italian shoes he said are similar to the ones that could have been worn by O.J. Simpson to commit the murders. Bodziak examined the bloody footprints found on the walkway outside Nicole Brown Simpson's condo. They matched the soles on the exclusive Bruno Malley shoes, he said, and the size of Simpson's tennis shoes are a perfect fit.
But the shoe prints that looked like OJ's weren't the only ones there.
It's possible to identify here the design that resembles...
Yeah, he drew that perfect.
Yes.
Nationally known forensic
He
scientists
practiced that shit, man.
identified a second set of shoe prints, what could be a mystery murderer.
By the time OJ had gotten there, 2 people had bled significantly onto the sidewalk.
If OJ Simpson told me I did it, I would want to know. You got to explain to me how you did this in less than 6 minutes and got rid of the weapon, the clothes, the bloody clothes. How did you do this?
And took a flight to Chicago.
Yep, I took a flight to Chicago. Come on, bro.
Like, yeah, what? Like, how? Why would he even show up there and walk around the fucking crime scene?
No, that's why they only found
My
one
brother
footprint.
Glenn
He
killed
probably walked in and
Nicole
was like, "Oh
Simpson and
shit," and
Ron
then
Goldman.
left. This is why
I know my brother did it because I've seen proof that he was there.
Yo, look at this proof that he got, bro. This proof is bananas. This is what, because everything is like speculation. You know what I mean? But with this evidence at the end of this documentary is bananas.
Somber members of the Brown family attended a candlelight vigil marking the first
You see what they
anniversary
all
of the
have
death
on their
of Nicole
shirts?
Brown Simpson and her friend Ron Goldman on June 12, 1994.
No, I didn't say nothing. There was a little thing on there.
Family members wore angel
See?
pins in memory of Nicole, who had collected angel jewelry before her death.
I remember the pin. Mom said Glenn sent it to her.
How the fuck did she get one?
And when she went to trial, he wanted her to wear it.
In 2010, I got another letter from Glenn, and this is what it said.
At my trial,
Mom has on that black vest top, and pinned to it is a gold angel with a diamond in its hand. I sent that to Mom the day after the situation in Brentwood. It's something everyone missed. I believe that angel pin is absolute proof that Glenn killed Nicole Simpson and Ron Goldman. The same pendant taken off her body, the same pendant that my mom wore on her vest into the courtroom in Hillsborough County Jail.
Wait, that pendant was on Nicole?
Yeah.
He took it off of her?
He took it off of her and mailed it to his mother.
That's sick.
Yeah. It was said that before, I believe, it was either before or after every murder, he would call his mom.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
And this is another thing. There was another video. There was another interview with Rogers where he says that he was told by OJ to go get the earrings and shit, right?
Yeah.
And when he goes to get the earrings, that fucking dude is there, you know, saying whatever. He kills the dude, he kills her, and he was upset that Simpson didn't meet him there because Simpson was supposed to meet him there, and he didn't. So when he saw that Simpson never showed up, he got upset. He went to Simpson's house. He went to a hardware store and bought gloves, leather gloves that's worth nothing, right? He planted one at the scene. He threw one over the gate where Simpson lives. That's where they found the second glove, which, you know, Rogers didn't really put too much thought into it because the gloves were too small. They fit him, not OJ.
If the glove don't fit, you must have quit.
Yeah, so there's a lot of, like, you got to understand that there's a lot of things in that case that don't match, and it points more to Roger than it does to OJ, because he's done things before where he tried to set other people up. That's not the first time where he tried to set someone else up.
But none of that was used or brought up in the trial whatsoever.
It was brought up during the investigation, but there was always a cop saying,
the only thing that was brought up was that there were two people present. That's it. Nothing else was mentioned at all. They wanted fucking OJ Simpson's head on a stake.
Because there was a narrative. They wanted to show that, black people do bad things.
And because she was Glenn Rogers had something that OJ didn't. He was the complexion of protection.
most definitely. And you know, he was a worker. If you think about it, he was working there as a carpenter, as a painter, as a laborer. What do you think that he always wore more than anybody else? Was boots. If you look at that second footprint, it looks like a boot. It looks like it belongs to a boot.
Yeah, I can see that.
It has to be him, because
fuck. Rest in peace, OJ, man.
Yeah, he did pass away. That's crazy. It's crazy how Rogers is still alive and OJ's dead.
Well, OJ had dick cancer.
Yeah,
well, not really.
Testicular cancer?
Yeah,
no,
I thought he had prostate cancer.
Yeah. Nigga, prostate's your dick.
I mean, yeah, kind of.
It helps your dick make sperm, but I don't think. Well, yeah, it has something to do with it. It's all connected.
It's just fucked up. I mean, he really didn't give a fuck after that point because he knew he didn't do it, and the fact that he kept taunting everybody is hilarious.
The thing is, he was his the way he was composed was because he knew who did it. That's one thing, and he probably thought in his mind if he would say, "Oh, I know who did it," they would still hit him for
I
something.
mean, let's just say it wasn't fucking Glenn Edward Rogers either. It's if it wasn't Glenn and it wasn't OJ, it was definitely somebody that she owed coke money to.
Yeah. He was OJ as well. I know this. He was very like he knew a lot of the kingpins from California. He knew a lot of the kingpins because of Nicole.
Yeah.
And you think about it, when they show the pictures of her badly bruised, you got to think about it like she tried to use that against him so that she could use it as blackmail. You understand? She probably beat herself, hit herself in the face with a fucking sock and an orange or whatnot, or whatever the fucking technique she used.
And she used to fight. They used to fight all the time.
Yeah, and he said, I never hit her. I pushed her, I pinned her up, but I never hit her. So you got to think about it like she probably tried to use it against him because he used to pay for all the finances for her family, for her father, for her sister. Everything that family has, OJ gave to them. So she's like, OJ doesn't want to deal with me no more because I keep fucking with these drug dealers. He's going to divorce me. So he's probably going to take away all my money. And then my family's not going to have no money. We're just going to be this poor family because they were nobody. They weren't rich. They weren't wealthy people. She was a waitress. He found her in the underground fucking nightclub, in the Daisy nightclub where only rich people went. You know what I'm saying? She said she had she was 23 and she was supposedly wanted to be a photographer, but she wasn't a photographer.
Oh, Nicole?
Yeah. She wanted to be a photographer. So
yeah, but all she's ever gonna be remembered is OJ's wife.
Because you would think if you're rich and you marry a woman that was a waitress and she said, "Hey, my dreams is to be a photographer," you would think that you, as a wealthy man, will help her accomplish those goals. Why she never became a photographer?
Yeah, let me put my Calvin Kleins on and take pictures of me.
Yeah,
she wanted to have fun and do coke.
Yeah, she wanted to do coke.
She had the money already when she married OJ.
Yeah, and then remember when they divorced and they finally really divorced, he was like, her mother came to OJ and said, "Hey, listen, can you at least get her a house and just pay the first 3 months? The first year." And then he was like, "No, I'll pay the first 3 months." He's like, "Oh, but she's the mother of your children. She's this, she's that." So she gave him a guilt trip, and he said, "All right, I'll pay the first year off."
So it's all about that money, bro.
She got used to the money, bro, and when she saw that was going to be stripped away from her,
the naked gun money.
Yeah, bro, that's
NFL
a lot.
pension. Yeah, they ruined. See, that's the reason OJ had to do all that dumb shit to make money because he was never gonna make money in movies or in the NFL ever again.
Yep, it fucked his credibility up. Yo, Miguel, what you think about Glenn Edward Rogers? You think he killed Nicole Simpson? Yeah, we can't hear you.
How about now? Do you hear me better?
Yes, sir.
All right. Sorry, because my signal was going in and out. It's hard to tell because like if you got traces of both those guys being there, you on one hand you're blaming OJ, and the other hand you're finding other evidence of somebody else being part of that. It's hard to tell. It sounds like they're both a part of the same murder. Only problem was they went after the black man instead of the white man for this one. So, or at least they didn't know about it. I don't know, man. It sounds possible Glenn Edwards probably did kill her, and it sounds like OJ has something to do with it. It's just, somebody had to be the fall guy. So it's a possibility. I can't say yes for sure. It's just a huge possibility that he was part of
The
that.
fucked up part is, Mix, nobody was the fall guy. nobody.
What you think, Munch?
I'm gonna say straight up, honest. Glenn Rogers killed that bitch, man. He killed her. OJ had something to do with it, obviously, but he didn't think that this guy was this type of person. He
Right.
went over to see what happened. He saw these two people dead. He took a step in. When he realized he was stepping in blood, he fucking bounced.
But that part right there makes no sense because
But that doesn't really make
not only
sense
why
either.
would he do that, but how did he still get to Chicago in time?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. But remember, like I said about
Because
when
anybody could take somebody's shoes and put them on.
I
Either.
was just gonna say.
Yeah, but
OJ ain't feeling the pressure
they'll know
with a
from the
size
pressure
12
though.
foot.
They know the pressure. I mean, fucking Glenn was a tall motherfucker. He could have had a size 12 foot.
But it could have been somebody else. It could have been his fucking brother that he always had that tag along with his crimes. And shit. Because if OJ showed up to the crime scene, if OJ showed up to the crime scene and he saw it and why would you know how reckless you gotta be to walk around and step in blood?
Yeah.
I mean,
Like
especially
you
with all
don't
that
need to
blood
act
there.
like you don't know what blood looks like. It gets dark to a color where you're like, yo, that's not normal liquid.
So what you think, Dre? What's your takeaway?
Wait, before you start, Dre, what I was gonna say was because he was infamous for also planting shit, like he planted the gloves. He could have went to the house and be like, you know what, I'm gonna put some blood on this car because he did put blood on the Bronco, a little bit of blood on the Bronco, and then he probably found the shoe because remember there was another piece of fabric found in the room. It was just odd that the glove was outside, and then the other fabric was upstairs in the room, and then the footprint. So he probably just planted those two things, took the sneaker, went over there, planted it because remember they never found the sneaker. They had to go find a replica of the sneaker. So he probably put the footprint there or put the sneakers on, like Jay said, stepped in
It was
there.
a designer shoe, though.
Yeah, it was a designer shoe.
Yeah.
Well, he probably found one in his closet. You know what I'm saying?
It's just crazy how they did all of that, man.
I think Roger did it because there's a lot of points where that he was there. He was in that area. There's another thing I was gonna say earlier that the neighbor of Nicole's neighbor right to the left of her house, right before she got killed, she went missing. And 3 days before Nicole got killed, they found that lady's body. And she was stabbed with the same, like the diameter of her stabbings was the same diameter of Nicole's stabbings. Same knife was used on the bitch, on her neighbor. But that don't come up. That didn't come up. You know, that I found, I should have found it and gave it to Jason, but her neighbor was found killed, like slaughtered 3 days before she died. And he worked for her. He painted her house too, because there's fucking receipts with Mark Peters paying Glenn Rogers to paint that house. And there's also a movie on YouTube that in that movie she actually had sexual encounters with Glenn Rogers. Like she fucks him.
That's crazy.
Yeah. There's a lot of things, a lot of people, different people coming up.
There's also another movie coming out that tries to paint the picture of OJ being innocent, and they offered Owen Wilson a part in that movie, I think playing one of the lawyers, and he declined because he didn't want to be a part of a project where they painted OJ as being innocent.
That makes no sense if he was innocent because in court he was acquitted.
Right.
So,
but the OJ thing is way deeper than that because it don't matter how much evidence you show people. They're like, yo, we don't care. We don't want to believe he's innocent no matter what you show us. That's why it's like,
right.
Racism is that power.
The rest of OJ's life after that trial was him trying to capture his fame or his wealth back because those people took all his fucking money. Both Nicole's family and fucking the Ron Goldman's family took all his fucking money. So he was constantly he started getting into real estate and all that just so he could keep up with his lifestyle.
What you think, Dre? Was it Glen Edward Rogers?
I think it was probably him and somebody else. Like I don't know if the cartel got in touch with him because the 2 footprint thing is confusing to me.
I never knew that until today.
What, the 2 footprints?
Yeah, I always thought it was just one.
Not and when they said LAPD showed up to the crime scene, they fucked up everything.
Yeah, they fucked up the whole scene. They walked all over everything. It was fucking 1,000 footprints.
Which already shows you how that's just suspicious right there.
Yep. I mean, they said that they try to make it look like it was OJ anyway.
That's why I was mentioning earlier. It's like, did they end up just making him the fall guy? Because like they put evidence to fucking fall on him. Cops are chasing him. Ain't no one else getting chased. So that's how I'm thinking. Like, the fuck is going on over here?
Bro, it was big. It was definitely a narrative behind the OJ case completely, because the chase, he wasn't even going faster than 20 miles an hour.
But he was going to speed limit, right? he driving the speed. How is it a high speed chase and he's going to speed limit?
Yeah, like he's going 20 on the highway where I think the speed limit was 55. Because if you see,
more.
no, because 55, 60, because if you see the other side of the road, the cars are fucking zooming, boom, boom, boom.
Right.
And these motherfuckers is going mad slow. Like they let this guy go back to his house. And he has a gun. Like, so they wanted to make this a big thing. Because they was like, oh, finally we have a black guy that's on the bad side right now. And we can use this to show that LAPD isn't as bad as what everybody is. That's what they were trying to do.
He got lucky because nowadays, chitty chitty bang bang.
Man, you would never have. They had like almost 40 cop cars, choppers, everything going fucking mad slow.
Yeah, but if OJ wasn't the juice, they would have shot him in his car.
Yeah.
But they need. Well, see, another part of this is like the beginning of court TV. So they had to sell court television and court TV drama. Because that's why O.J. Simpson being named instead of fucking Glen Rogers is not. What's gonna get more ratings?
The thing is, I remember that shit as
Glen fucking Rogers would have got more ratings. The cross country killer caught a fucking high profile kill. Yeah,
nobody called him the cross country killer in '94. That's the thing, Jay. In 1993, O.J. Simpson was on top of the media world as a name, as a figure.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Because
when you put a double murder on him, that's going to be crazy television.
OJ was knocked before Glen Rogers got caught. The trial was halfway through when Rogers was caught.
Yeah, like
but nobody, but he didn't have that reputation until much later, like most serial killers do. Like you have a reputation. Yeah, exactly. You have a reputation, but then you got to build it up when they start talking to you and you get interrogated.
Yeah, so when he got...
but Glenn started building up before he got caught because of all the murders he was linked to.
But Jay,
that's when they dubbed him the cross-country killer.
Yeah, but that's like reverse media, right? Media is different in 1992 or 1991. O.J. Simpson was an NFL star, college football star, so everybody knew his name.
He was, no, like, let me tell you something. He was Jordan before Jordan. Like, he was the first, like, he came, bro, like his reputation was crazy.
NFL, did he?
Yeah, OJ played in the NFL.
I wouldn't say he was Jordan now.
He was. He was the first. He was the first man to rush 2,000 yards.
Nah, look, OJ was special. OJ, one of the greatest players ever, and his entire legacy is tarnished.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is, at that time in the 80s, before Jordan was even becoming who he was Jordan. Then he became a sportscaster. That's like right now, like Shaq. Yeah. You see how Shaq is one of the greatest of all time, and he's a newscaster, and they come out and find out Shaq killed 2 people. It'll be the same. That same
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It would be crazy to see one of the top players retire. And he did how many 5, 6 movies? He did a whole bunch of movies. He was gonna be in more movies, and then a murder.
He was supposed to be the Terminator.
And people would say, nah, he can't be the Terminator because everybody loved OJ.
Yep, and then it was. So you gotta understand, this guy was at the top of his game. They say, you know what, we're gonna take this and we're gonna roll with it, because there was certain videos and clips I saw that some detectives came before the trial started and they say, yo, this guy can be part of this, and they will be like, oh nah, that don't match up. He wasn't here, but there was receipts of him being there all the way until the end of the trial. He was still in fucking California. He left and he went back to California. He had receipts of him doing jobs in the same fucking area.
Not to mention the fucking neighbors seen the same fucking truck and him there in front.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Bro, if Ring doorbell was a thing, he would have got knocked.
Yeah. He definitely would have got knocked. But that's why it's so hard to say, oh, it was him. You know what I'm saying? Because the evidence wasn't, the technology wasn't up to par how it is now.
I'm about to say, Jay, if they had the Ring doorbell app back then, it would have saw all kinds of people in that house. So you would really could it could have been a whole bunch of different names.
Yeah.
Look, one thing's for sure. Whether OJ did it, Jason Simpson did it, or Glenn Rogers did it, we're all getting old. Fucking Friday came out 29 years ago, bro.
That's crazy.
29 years ago today, bro.
I know I'm old for the simple fact that I remember that car chase because I remember my father watching a novela with my mom, and they cut the novela mid-novela to show the fucking
everything, bro.
And I was sitting there like, "Who's that?" And my dad's like, "Oh, that's a football player." And my dad knew who he was. And I didn't know who the fuck he was at the time. I'm like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" And then I remember that shit going on for days, watching that shit with my father. That's how I know I'm fucking old.
We all old, man. So before we get old on this thing, thanks for tuning in to the Break Room, where we serve up a hefty dose of candid conversations and wild tangents every week. So thank you for taking your break with us, and be sure to tune back in next week. We love ya. Peace out.
Thank you for tuning in to